Hi everyone, here we are. It's Tuesday. I'm filming. Just going to do a little experiment today. But before we do that, dun, 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 we have the drawing for the subscriber giveaway. This was for 500. Thank you guys all so much for subscribing. I didn't have a huge amount of people, so that's better for you guys. Whoever entered is going to have more of a chance to win, so that's exciting. So I'm just going to go ahead and I got the container out here. I'm going to turn my head. This is going to be for the second prize, which is a trivet, octagon 8-inch trivet, and you can choose whatever you want. You can go through all my stuff and figure out what colors you want. And somebody had mentioned a set of coasters, so I would be willing to do that also if you didn't want the trivet. Okay, I'm going to grab one. Here we go. So this is for second prize. Jane of Spain. Okay, there you go, Jane. You can contact me at Kristinsoriginals@gmail.com, and I will get your information from you, and we'll go from there. So Jane of Spain is the winner of the trivet or set of coasters, whatever you want, Jane. Okay, here's for the big one. This is for 11 by 14 or a 14 by 14. Anything you want, commission piece, and you can either have resin or varnish. That's also, I'm going to leave that one up to you also. Okay. Who's it going to be? Colleen Garland. Congratulations. You are the winner. So again, contact me at kristinsoriginals.com, at gmail.com, and I will get those shipped off to you. After I make them, of course. It's going to take me a little while because they have to dry. But think about what you want. Do a little bit of research unless you already know what you want. And contact me. Okay, that was fun. So if I don't hear from either one of those two people, then I will select again. All right, so today I have a 10 by 10 gallery wrap. Something I want to talk to you guys about because I just did a couple shows. They were okay. They were both at retirement homes, and I think, you know, it's hard for people in retirement homes because they don't have they're usually on a fixed income. So that's kind of sad, but I sold enough, and they don't charge you anything to be there, so that was fine. But one thing I learned about when you're resining or varnishing a bunch of pieces is make sure you tape them. So just take the couple extra minutes that it takes to get the tape on the back and the push pins in. And that way you're good. You're good through the whole process. You don't have to worry about it. I've always been kind of lazy about taping up. But I was so happy when I was resining all those coasters and trivets when I would flip one over and it was already taped. Yay! So, trust me, do that. The other thing I learned about resin the other day is don't resin when it's cold. I had a bunch of orders to get out before Christmas, and I didn't have a whole lot of resin left. I thought, you know, would be enough. And I had trouble on almost every single piece. It just was pulling away. And I didn't use any silicone, so I really think it was the cold. I got up this morning and re-resined them before the 24-hour period, so I didn't have to sand or anything. And I think they all came out okay on the second coat. But I made sure I turned my heater on and put some extra here because this is a gallery wrap, so I want to make sure all the corners, everything's covered. Got up, turned the heater on, warmed up my resin in some hot water. I still had a few spots that probably, you know, maybe because the tiles were cold. But my husband and I are very warm-blooded, so we don't like to run the heater. We're just not heater people, especially with, you know, menopause. So, Yeah, turned the heater on this morning. It was 65 degrees in the house, so it was a little chilly. I feel bad, a little bad for my animals, but they sleep right next to me, so I keep them warm. Okay, so this is just my regular base that I would use. It's just a little bit of glue, paint, Floetrol, and some water to thin it down. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I'm going to be using my normal Dutch pour recipe for the colors, but I'm going to be using the topper for the bloom technique. Another thing I want to say about, well, let me do this first. Again, something that I learned when you're, having to varnish and resin a lot. Of course, if I had done it throughout the year, I wouldn't have had a lot to resin, but I didn't, so I did. But varnishing and resining at the, when you're doing a bunch of them, make sure when you do your piece, take a little bit of extra time again, and make sure all the corners and edges are covered with paint. Because that's kind of a pain in the butt too, to have to go through everything and make sure that all of the sides are covered. If you have even little tiny places I don't like, especially on a gallery wrap, because they're not going to be framing it. So, just, a piece of advice. Okay, and now I've forgotten what the other thing was I was going to tell you, but that's okay. I'll remember it if I need to. Okay, so I have 4 colors that I'm going to be using today. I've got the Folk Art 24 karat gold. I have the Peridot by Folk Art, which is a metallic. I'm using, I think that one might be a little thick. Artist Loft Metallic Cobalt. And then for my dark, I'm using Dioxazine Purple and Prism Violet mixed. I want to get some water Floetrol mix just to thin that the teal one down a little bit, the cobalt. Remember, when you're doing a Dutch pour, you want the paints to be on the thinner side. So the only ones that I really like to see a little bit of a mound is like your gold and your silver. Those I leave a little moundy, but not a lot. Okay, that's better. You want them just to, that one's a little thick too because it's mounding. I wanted everything to have a little bit of sparkle in it, so I added some diamond dust, which is I got from Countertop. Why can't I think of the word? Countertop Resin Company. So I got a little bag of diamond dust, so I put a little bit of that in here just to give us a little sparkle, because everything else is sparkling. So okay, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but no mound. We don't want a mound, only because we're doing Dutch. The other thing too is I added it to everything else, but I waited because I wanted to show you. This is the varnish that I'm using right now. It's Dura Clear Gloss Varnish by Deco Art Americana. And so I just put a little bit, and I just have a little bit of paint because you don't need a whole lot for these. So I just drizzle a little bit on the top. And my stick is in the way, so you can see that, just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. What it is there for is to help keep the paint, because you have to thin it out so much to keep it from cracking. So keep your binders in there. Okay, so we have got all our paints mixed up. Did I say I wanted to add? I think I want to add a little. No, I did that already, right? Okay. All right. I'm a little discombobulated this morning. I got up at 6:30 to re-resin those pieces because they have to be delivered in like 12 days. So I really wanted that to be done. And I have something on my canvas that I don't like. And I don't think it's a bubble because I torched already. Torching your base is just to get rid of, I'll just scoot that over to the edge. Oh, it disintegrated. Okay. So torching is just to get rid of bubbles for this particular purpose. I do have my painting on my easel, or on my turntable. Eventually, I'm going to use this turntable to make something on it to sell, but as of right now, I'm using it as my turntable. So what I wanted to do today was play around with the topper. And the topper